The day the Hawthornes, the wealthiest family in Starling City, came to claim me, I was already one of the brightest stars in Hollywood. The homecoming turned into a media frenzy. Paparazzi swarmed the estate, their lenses broadcasting every moment live to the nation. Yet as I approached the grand entrance, Chloe, the girl they had raised as their own in my place, stepped forward, a smug expression on her face. "Sister," she said, her tone oozing false concern. "We looked you up. That indie film you starred in, the one with all the explicit scenes? The Hawthornes have a reputation to uphold. You'll need to change into something more appropriate before entering." Next to her, a small brazier smoldered, and a plain gray dress lay beside it, a humiliating display disguised as some strange ritual. "Dad said while he and my brother are away, I'm the lady of this house. I hope you understand," she added, voice syrupy with authority. The old me would have played along, calculating every move to win their approval. But the old me was gone. I had returned, reborn, and I wouldn't be manipulated. With a swift kick, I sent the brazier clattering across the marble. I shoved Chloe aside, my voice cutting like ice. "A joke. You want to humiliate me? You couldn't afford my coat, let alone the rest of me. Don't even think about it. Every inch of me is insured for millions. You wouldn't know the value of a single strand of my hair," I added, my words sharp as daggers. "Lady of the house," I scoffed. "We'll see how long that lasts. By the end of today, you'll be begging." My outburst acted like a signal flare. Reporters surged forward, a wave of flashing lights and shouted questions engulfing me. "Sienna, is it true? Are you the lost Hawthorne heiress? You seem angry. Is it because Chloe took your place? This temper doesn't match your public image, does it?" The questions hit like bullets. In my past life, I had meekly bent to Chloe's will. She had used me as a stepping stone, then spent years spreading vicious rumors about my supposed promiscuity, driving me to despair, and ultimately death. Not this time. This time, I refused to be anyone's pawn. Chloe froze, shocked, before snapping back. I ignored her and moved toward the doors. She grabbed my arm, forcing me to glance at her. "Sienna, we're happy to have you back, but you can't disrespect the Hawthorne name like this." Her voice rose, performed for the cameras. "Your big break was that scandalous movie." Dad was furious. "Any woman with a reputation like yours has to be cleansed before stepping in here." She lunged, claws on my dress. I slapped her hand away, the sound echoing sharply. "You dare. Even if I weren't a Hawthorne, I'm worth millions. One more touch, Chloe, and my lawyers will hear about it." Clutching her cheek, Chloe's eyes burned with hatred. "You." The paparazzi thrived on this. Microphones shoved into Chloe's face, demanding reactions. "Aren't you happy to have Sienna as your sister? She's the true Hawthorne by blood. Isn't this a bit much?" Chloe forced a smile, practiced for the cameras. "Of course I'm happy. This wasn't my idea. I'm following my father's instructions. I'm preparing for my own debut, and unlike some, I know boundaries. I would never compromise myself for fame. I'm just guiding her, teaching her the Hawthorne way." I laughed, sharp and derisive. "Lady of the house. We'll see how long that lasts. For now, you're just a cuckoo in the nest." Chloe trembled, furious, but the cameras held her back. I smoothed my hair, my voice icy. "So? Are we doing this reunion or not? Because I have places to be." Reporters pounced. "The Hawthornes arranged this reunion. Why turn Sienna away? Really rejecting her over an acclaimed art house film? Are the ultra-rich so devoid of artistic sense?" Chloe went pale, lips trembling, unable to reply. Power shifted in my favor. It's amazing what a little leverage can do. At that moment, the family's old butler, Mr. Thompson, hurried out. He inclined his head toward Chloe. "Miss Hawthorne, your father saw the live stream. He's returning now." Then he faced me, his voice thick with disdain. "As for actresses, well, actresses will be actresses. Miss Chloe is the only daughter of his heart. Don't be afraid." The crowd erupted. "Did you hear that? Chloe's seat is safe, even if Sienna's here." My phone buzzed like crazy. Amy, my agent, was frantic on the line. "Sienna, get out now. Forget this reunion. The internet is on fire. They're calling you ungrateful. Hawthorne money funds half the agency. Do you know what that means?" I let her panic hang in the air and chuckled. "Breathe, Amy. Watch and learn. I've got this." Her voice cracked. "Do you realize who you're tangling with? Caleb Hawthorne is viciously protective. If the family pulls funding, you'll be dropped overnight. A screech of tires cut through us as a red sports car drifted to a stop at the gate. Caleb Hawthorne emerged, his features set in a cold mask. Chloe instantly melted into his side, clinging to him with practiced desperation. Caleb swept his gaze over me. So you're Sienna. Cameras swarmed, questions spilling out. Mr. Hawthorne, how does it feel to meet your long-lost sister? He sneered. She may be blood, but Chloe has been a Hawthorne for years. She's the only sister I know. For someone to arrive on day one and behave like this, it proves a lack of proper upbringing. When my phone rang again, I ignored it. Caleb's voice dropped, menacing. This estate is not your stage, and if you make trouble, I will not be kind. I met the lenses with a half-smile. This is live. Everyone saw who tried to humiliate me. How did that become my fault? Didn't you pull funding for my last project minutes ago? Who's performing now? The live chat lit up, the mood shifting toward me. Chloe, scrambling, adopted a saccharine look for the cameras. Caleb's just protective. We're only following father's wishes. We can afford to care for one more person. Today was tradition, nothing more. She just never had the proper education. She's worked since she was a teenager. I pretended to raise my hand, making her flinch. Then I let it fall. Do you know who requested the DNA test? I said softly, dangerously. Whether or not you accept me won't be decided by an adopted girl playing house. My real mother had searched for me until despair swallowed her. She took her life. Years later, after I became known across the country, my grandmother recognized me on a screen. She was the one who begged me to take the test and to come home. Not the pompous patriarchs, not their heir. Her plea brought me back. Chloe shrieked, even if Grandma recognized you, this is the Hawthorne house. My brother is heir, chosen by Father himself. If he says no, you will not pass that threshold. I sat, cool and collected, folding my legs over a patio chair.
Fine.
We'll wait for Mr. Hawthorne. The live viewer count soared.
Perfect.
If I didn't turn this into a spectacle, they would never learn who really held the cards. Then a thunderous voice cut through the commotion. Who dares touch a hair on my granddaughter's head? An imperious, white-haired woman, leaning on a cane, hobbled onto the lawn. She was the family matriarch, my grandmother. Charles, Caleb, and Chloe froze, stunned. After my mother died, she had retired to a nearby city, leaving the corporation's day-to-day affairs to Charles. She rarely intervened. My throat tightened. Grandma, I whispered. Her hand, worn and warm, cupped my cheek. Sienna, my child. I should have been here. Charles sputtered. Mom, why didn't you tell us you were coming? Her cane struck the marble, a pistol crack of authority. I find my daughter's child, and this is the welcome? She spun on Charles. When did you gain the right to judge my blood? You married into this name. You are not family by birth. Reporters, reignited, fired questions and cameras flashed. The CEO is a son-in-law? Succession drama, live. Charles's face drained. He shoved Caleb to the front. Get them out. I'll sue for invasion of privacy. Chloe, previously so composed, now clutched at our grandmother, whispering, Please, this is humiliating for Hawthorne Corporation. The old woman jerked free. Don't call me grandma, not to her. Sienna is my only grandchild, and the only disgrace here is you. A reporter blurted. So, Caleb isn't your grandson? She declared loudly. Caleb is Charles's son from a prior relationship. This was a blended family. I should not have let this stand. Her words detonated across the feed, memes and shocked comments cascading. Caleb's face hardened. He escorted Charles and Chloe into the villa. My grandmother took my hand and led me inside. Under crystal chandeliers, she slammed her cane, the echo booming. Charles Hawthorne, kneel. Charles hesitated, pride and fury warring. Mom, I am CEO of Hawthorne Corporation. CEO? She spat. Without the Hawthorne name, you are nothing. You were a penniless man when my daughter helped you. I never handed all the shares to you. I left the majority in my name. You are merely a manager. When Charles held his ground, my grandmother snatched a vase and hurled it at him, the porcelain shattering, a final, unmistakable warning. Do not force me to repeat myself. I said, kneel. The vase shattered at Charles's feet, porcelain shards skittering across the marble. His bravado evaporated, replaced by fear. With a startled yelp, He sank to his knees. Chloe and Caleb froze, their faces pale. My grandmother's finger, trembling with anger, jabbed toward Charles, but her words were for me. Sienna, let me make this crystal clear. This is your home. You are in charge. Anyone who dares to trouble you, I will break their legs. Her icy gaze landed on Chloe. Especially you. Since when did you get to make the rules here? I looked at her, heart tangled with emotion. She had been deceived, too, losing her daughter too soon and unknowingly allowing a wolf into her home. I had only discovered the full truth moments before my death in my last life. From my purse, I pulled a manila envelope and handed it to her. Her hands shook as she opened it, her expression shifting from shock to fury, and finally to deep, aching sorrow. She flung the documents at Charles. You! How dare you lie to my daughter? Charles scrambled, scanning the papers. His face drained of color. It was the first thing I had done upon returning, a DNA test proving beyond doubt that he and Chloe were father and daughter. How did you get this? He stammered, panic widening his eyes. My grandmother straightened, cane tapping sharply. My daughter married you thinking you were honest, thinking you would care for Sienna. She tolerated you bringing your son into the house because she was good to him. Do you forget that? You had an agreement. 1 child each. You lied. If she had known, she never would have married you. With her secret out, Chloe dropped all pretense. So what? She yelled. Dad built this family. He was married, so I'm his child too. What's the problem? Caleb stepped forward, shielding them both. Mother treated me well. It doesn't matter if we share blood. I'm a Hawthorne now, and one day, this company will be mine. I let out a sharp laugh. Your little scheme goes further than you think, I said, voice slicing through their excuses. You had me declared lost, then inserted your own daughter to fill the void. You waited for my mother to die so your parasitic family could feast on her inheritance. At the word lost, my grandmother flinched. Horror clouded her eyes. Sienna, he arranged it? I didn't have all the evidence yet, but I would. I squeezed her hand. Grandma, trust me. I'll make them pay. She turned to Charles, voice low and deadly. Out of my house. You are no longer part of this family. Charles sneered. You old fool. I was married to your daughter. You can't just kick me out. She's dead, so half of her estate belongs to me. I reassured her softly. It's fine. He won't get a penny. Then, confident heels clicked across the foyer. My chest tightened. Eleanor Vance, my adoptive mother, the legendary actress and director, stood in the doorway, her presence commanding the room. The door swung open, and Eleanor's anxious expression softened as she saw me. Chloe rushed forward, starstruck. Oh my God. Eleanor Vance. You're here? Caleb, did you arrange this for me? I've always wanted to be an actress. Caleb smirked at me. The Hawthorne name opens doors, little sister. Unlike some, you don't have to sell yourself to succeed. Eleanor's gaze hardened. Sell yourself. Chloe put on a sweet, venomous smile. Miss Vance, you wouldn't know. Sienna starred in a full-frontal nude film after graduation. If she hadn't, she'd be nothing. My grandmother's jaw tightened, but Eleanor spoke first. Who taught you to speak about art with such vulgarity? And Sienna used a professional body double. Are you always this eager to spread lies? Chloe was speechless, staring at Eleanor in disbelief. Miss Vance, you must believe me. I'm prettier, a better actress. My brother can invest. You should mentor me. I steadied my mother gently. Mom, don't let them get to you. Everyone stared. Mom? She's your mother? I smiled. Meet my adoptive mother, Eleanor Vance. Charles's face twisted in confusion and panic. Impossible. I was told. Why didn't Sienna mention it earlier? Eleanor laughed, cold and humorless. So, if you'd known an Oscar winner was her mother, you would have treated her differently? I heard her comments on the live stream about her upbringing. Chloe's face reddened. Ms. Vance, you can't go back on your word. My brother said I'd get a role. Why does Sienna get the lead? If people find out, they'll accuse her of nepotism. Eleanor smiled knowingly and stroked my hair. When did I say otherwise? Of course, she gets the part. I knew she meant it. Chloe was in for a world of trouble. As we left, my grandmother shot Charles one last glare. Mark my words. You're out of this house. Charles flinched, silent. Back home, I checked social media. The drama dominated every trending topic. Hashtag tycoon son-in-law disowns daughter. Hashtag fake heiress cuckoo in the nest. Hashtag Hawthorne heiress identity crisis. Hashtag Sienna brutal homecoming. Comments poured in. More dramatic than a soap opera. Imagine being rejected by your own family. Chloe is a snake. I'm officially her first anti-fan. Sienna's clapback was legendary. I laughed, watching the Hawthorne empire crumble from my grandmother's pastries-fueled comfort zone. In the days that followed, Chloe's past was unearthed. Bullying, plastic surgery, messy scandals. Hawthorne corpse stock plummeted, Charles panicked, and I lounged at home, savoring every headline. Mom's arrangement came to fruition. Chloe got a role, but not as the leading lady, only as a minor maid. On set, she acted like royalty, bossing everyone around. Do you call this a look? My face is a delicate instrument. This costume is awful. Do you know who I am? I'm a Hawthorne. Chloe's meltdown escalated the moment she saw me in my elaborate lead costume. I want that outfit. I refuse to film unless I get it, she screamed. My agent, Amy, wiped her brow and whispered, Sienna, thank the stars for that twist. Otherwise, you'd be the one playing the maid. Still, I want to punch her myself. The director stormed onto the set. Let's move, people. Time's wasting. Chloe continued to throw tantrums, demanding a better part. Finally, the director snapped. I don't care who you think you are. Do the work or get off my set. If Ms. Vance hadn't personally vouched for you, you wouldn't even be here. Crushed, Chloe reluctantly complied. Her role was minor, a disobedient maid. During one intense take, I improvised. Insolent creature. How dare you? I roared and slapped her across the face. She staggered back, furious, but the director shouted, Cut. Sienna? That was incredible. But you ruined the take. Again from the top. And so I did, 10 more times. 10 slaps. Every single one felt exhilarating. Finally, Chloe, clutching her bruised cheek, yelled, I quit. You'll regret this. You can't make an enemy of the Hawthornes. The director smirked. Go ahead. Breaking the contract will cost you a fortune. With the Hawthornes in shambles, Chloe had no leverage. She endured a few more days of filming before her character was unceremoniously killed off, leaving her with barely 2 minutes of screen time. Her dreams of fame evaporated before they began. Meanwhile, my private investigator called with a breakthrough. I brought my grandmother to his office. I found her, the woman who gave Chloe up for adoption. Her name is Linda, he said, handing me an envelope. Less than a month later, she was adopted by Charles Hawthorne. My grandmother's hands clenched into fists. That bastard. He told my daughter his ex-wife was dead. He planned this all along, waiting for his own child to inherit everything. The investigator slid another document forward. It gets worse. Charles and Linda never divorced. I snatched the paper. It was their marriage certificate. Charles Miller, then later Charles Hawthorne, had changed his name twice. Once to pursue my mother, then again after marrying her, all to secure the Hawthorne name. This is bigamy, I said firmly. Fraud. His marriage to my mother was never legally valid. Invalid, my grandmother whispered through tears. Good. Finally, justice. He also handed us enhanced photos. One showed Linda in a car, the child in the passenger seat, unmistakably me at age 6. It's me, I murmured, heart clenching. It is Sienna, my grandmother sobbed. Linda had not just abandoned me, she had deliberately taken me as part of their scheme. Armed with this proof, I went to the police and leaked the story to a trusted journalist. Within hours, the internet was ablaze with the Hawthorne scandal. Gold-digging husband conspires with first wife to kidnap heiress. And the fake heiress dared lecture Sienna. The film's director, furious on my behalf, hired a stand-in and res-hot Chloe's scenes, erasing her from the movie. He then sent her a lawsuit for damages. I retained the city's top lawyer and filed to nullify my mother's marriage to Charles on grounds of bigamy and fraud. A week later, Caleb appeared at my door, carrying a fruit basket. Sister, we're family. We don't have to do this, he pleaded. I slammed the door. You're not my brother. You've occupied my family's name long enough. Time to return it. In my past life, he had funded the smear campaign that ruined me. My only emotion was pure, unyielding hatred. Soon after, the police arrested Linda. Timid and broken, she confessed, thinking it would protect her children. Instead, her admissions sealed their fate. Charles Hawthorne, once untouchable, was convicted of fraud, bigamy, and conspiracy. Chloe blamed her mother. Are you stupid? Why confess? We have nothing now. You're pathetic. Linda wept. But her regret could never rival the pain my mother endured after losing me. My grandmother convened an emergency board meeting, stripping Charles and Caleb of all titles and positions. A forensic audit uncovered embezzlement, and both were imprisoned. Without Hawthorne protection, Chloe's career collapsed. Attempts at live streaming failed. Fan reporting got her banned from every platform. At the Stardust Awards, I stood on stage to accept Best Actress. Eleanor presented the award, and I caught sight of Chloe in the back, pushing a janitor's cart. Our eyes met. She went berserk. Charging the stage, she screamed, "It's all nepotism." Her mother. Eleanor's voice rang calm and commanding. "Sienna is my adopted daughter, yes. But she has never relied on me for her career. Every award, every success, she earned herself." The audience erupted in applause. Chloe, enraged, grabbed the trophy and swung it at me. My mother shoved me aside just in time. The award struck Chloe instead, drawing blood. Security tackled her, and she was immediately arrested. My grandmother transferred Hawthorne Corp to me. I became the sole heir. With my mother's legacy and my grandmother's guidance, I embraced this new life, balancing acting and business school, determined and purposeful. Meeting the Hawthornes had been my greatest misfortune. But having a mother and grandmother who truly loved me was my greatest blessing. Some sow thorns, others plant flowers. In the end, the harvest reflects what we choose to grow.